How's everybody doing? I don't expect everyone to answer, but things are going well here. Tuesday was a different day, I'll say that. I know a lot of folks wanted King to win so we could beat him in November, but I'll say one of the things that I was a little bit worried about is if he were to win the nominee and then face us and would by chance win, that would really empower him. So the worst case scenario is off the table. I know I've been seeing a lot of folks who think this race is unwinnable and all that stuff. There's the same folks who said that 2 years ago, and we have far more resources, we have far more name recognition, we are far more prepared now than we were 2 years ago at this time. And so we're all excited, we're gung-ho. We have a lot of people signing up for volunteer shifts. We have this is one of the bigger months for fundraising, I'll say, that we have ever had since we started in 2017. And so we're focusing a lot on that right now, especially that we don't get to go out and campaign as much as we'd like to. Sioux City Sioux is ready to go, and we're going to get that going probably next month. And along with that, that's when I think we'll have the yard signs. We'll have a big launch tour, I guess, and stuff with that. And so that's kind of the timeline that we have. But I'll say overall, our campaign is extremely healthy. We're ready to go. And looking at Feenstra, we match up against him really well. You look at what the Republican primary and how King and the others all went after Randy for being very establishment and kind of those things, and he's going to take a lot of corporate money, and we assume a lot of money, especially from these. If you know me or heard me for the last couple of years, it's enforcing our antitrust laws in agriculture is a huge thing that I believe in, and he's on the other side of that in the sense that he's giving tax breaks to all these multinational corporations that ultimately are hurting consumers or making consumers pay for it, hurting our workers. And we see in all these processing plants and the positive COVID tests, and then some of the and then on the other side is hurting the farmers and squeezing the farmers out of this. I think what this pandemic has really shown are two issues that have really put a spotlight on this. And one is healthcare. And I think the whole district understands the need for improvement for healthcare. And especially right now, if my neighbor, if their job doesn't offer healthcare or they can't afford it, it hurts the whole neighborhood. And so there's never been more an opportune time to push for universal healthcare. The other spotlight is on our food system and how vulnerable we are. When a packing plant goes down in one part, that disrupts all the markets. And so I've been talking about that for a couple of years now, and I had about a half dozen Republicans either email me or reach out and say, thank you for saying what you're saying about this, because you're exactly right. And I think it's a winnable message for us as well. A couple of the things that I've been seeing that I'm really excited about that is the organization, the organic organization of folks who we've always tried to connect with, but they're not the easiest voters to connect with, and that's the people who work in the work processing plants and the food processing plants. Not only them, but their kids, and they're organizing on Facebook, and we're doing some deep organizing with them. The other part of it is what we're seeing with this Black Lives Matter and the youth vote and them getting active. I mean, we're seeing these events pop up all over. Spencer, Iowa had a well-populated one. I think they had several hundred people the other night. We saw Orange City last night. Fort Dodge. Here in Sioux City, we've had multiple ones, and the first one had over 300 people. And these are people new. I went to the one, was it yesterday or 2 days ago? I can't remember, but I mean, I didn't know most of the crowd, and these are new people getting active, and it's awesome to see. And so we're going at this almost identical to where we were 2 years ago. And for folks who may not remember, 2 years ago, it took 15 months to try to convince people that the race was close. And this time, we have so much more resources at our disposal, and it's an uphill battle, but we're in for the fight. And I'm just eager to get in Sioux City, Sioux, and go to all 39 counties pretty quickly here. And so that's kind of about all I have. But I'd love to answer any questions at this time.
Yeah, we have one from Jeff. He wants to know how you're adjusting and adapting your campaign with COVID limitations.
Yeah, so I mean, so much of what our MO the last 2.5 years, last cycle and this cycle, was getting out there and meeting people where they're at. And this is definitely an adjustment. The selfish side of me, I've been able to sleep in my own bed a lot more, and so I'm appreciative of that. But this has really allowed us to put an infrastructure in place for what we call digital door knocking. So just in case we can't physically door knock, we don't know if we can or cannot at this time. And so we have a strong digital presence. If for folks who don't know, Cody's our organizer. He is phenomenal. He's broken up our volunteers to 4 different groups. We have a data group, we have a tech group, we have a content group, and we have an outreach group. And so for folks who don't want to be on phones or do stuff, but they want to help out, maybe they can be on the data team, or if they're creative, they can go on the content team. And we have different things for people, and it's open for everyone. And as of right now, we have well over 100 active volunteers, and we're going to be growing that and really doing volunteers push in the next month or so.
Great. Phyllis, mostly just a comment. She hopes that you'll reach out and organize healthcare workers. Every small town has people, they're mostly women, working as CNAs. And then
yeah. One of the things we have a event, town hall, virtual town hall event like this coming up with a lot of the citizen action groups all throughout the whole district. We also we're going to find ways to show up in every county in just like our Don't Forget About Us tour, which we did last fall, where we went to towns of under 1,000 people. We're going to do similar stuff to really, this is going to come down to every last vote. And so what we really need to do is especially target the people who aren't maybe don't have access to internet, don't have access to some of the things that, like, so they can't go to events like this. So we're trying to figure out who has access, who doesn't, and then really do a target based off of that. And I think with what we were able to do in 2018, we have a lot of data about where to improve and how to improve. I think that's one huge strength that we have going for us, is we have that. And the other part of it too is, if you look at where Feenstra got his votes, it's very, very much that northwest corner, and King actually won, if you just looked at the land part of it, the majority of the counties all throughout. And so I think there's huge opportunity for us to really get ahead and set the tone messaging wise, and really get out there and make them play catch up.
Mm-hmm. Mary Sue would like to know, do you see any opportunities to debate Randy Feenstra?
I would think so. I mean, I think it would do both of us a lot of favors. He did debates in the primary. I think he would need it for some of his name recognition, and because most of the district still doesn't know who he is.
Great.
Thank you.
Oh, you are reading the comments over there. Okay.
Yeah. No, so we're doing a lot of media right now, and if for folks who didn't read the New York Times article, that we've got a lot of great feedback from that. And can you put a link to those in the chats? If so, I'll put it in for folks.
Yes, you can. I
Okay.
believe that links are clickable. Here, I'll
Okay.
practice. I'll just put it in our
All right.
Stewart County website and see if it
Okay,
shows
yeah,
as a link.
we got a lot of great feedback from it, and I think one of the best things that we saw.
It doesn't show up as a link, but you can copy paste it. So
Perfect.
okay.
I think one of the best things that we saw was, like, I know a lot of folks we wanted to beat King, and a lot of folks wanted that too. But what we've seen this week, people are still fired up. People are still excited, and I will say that the support has not left us, and we're still very much what we need to do in this district. I mean, what we see in statewide races, we need to pull our weight in this district, and that's what the frustration with kind of seeing what happened with statewide Dems last cycle in 2018. A lot of the reasons why we struggle is because of the 4th district, and I think there's huge opportunities, especially when this district is the #1 district affected by the renewable fuel standard. It's the #1 district affected by the trade war. There's a lot of rural community out here that are frustrated, and I'm not writing anyone off.